This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 128 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda. As you can see, we're in a very different environment this time because I'm up in the Scottish borders with my mate, with my husband, on the banks of the Tweed this week, fishing for salmon. Actually, we've just finished fishing for salmon because the salmon season was slightly earlier this year. There's an inordinate amount of fish on the river, which is very exciting because you can see a lot of them jumping, but it also means that they are spawning earlier in the season than usual. So we're calling it a day after today and we're staying off the river. It doesn't feel right to be fishing in between patches where fish are starting to spawn. Not fair on the fish, not fair on nature. So we've had our fill, we've had a couple of wonderful days, but the season is coming to an end. Before I take you to the riverbank where I've actually recorded the Layercake section of this week's podcast with some beautiful views of the river in the background, I will give you an update on what I've been doing in terms of knitting and a tiny bit of crochet this time. I'll start with my finished object. So before we dive into Layercake, first some knitting and crochet. Well, the first project that I want to share with you, finished project, is the WestKnits Mystery Knit Along GoGo Dynamo. It was called this year. And for those of you who have watched this sneak preview that I gave in a previous episode, you already know that I've been working this particular shawl in a combination of a linen gradient. It is the pistachio gradient, and combined with a very similar color in Fiber Space Cumulus. Here is the finished object, the finished shawl. So compared to people who would have used the recommended 4-ply yarn, this shawl is smaller. It's still plenty big. It still has a wingspan of, well, it's about 6 foot because my wingspan, of course, is about my height. So the wingspan is about 6 foot rather than the 7 foot that you would end up with if you would do the whole thing in 4-ply. And this is the finished shawl. I'm very pleased with it. The result of knitting with finer yarn and slightly thinner needles is that the whole thing has got a slightly more ethereal feel, especially, of course, because the section of linen end up being a bit more see-through. They look a bit more lacy, even though they're not. That is just stocking stitch sections and some garter stitch sections as well. And then you've got the fuzziness of the cumulus in between. It's not looking too fuzzy because I've just steam blocked it to be able to show it to you. I only finished it, I think, yesterday or the day before. It is a shawl that is built up slightly different from normal. You actually start knitting here and knit to the edge, and then you pick up stitches and decrease and knit to the center bit of what ends up being like a half circle. And because, of course, it being a mystery knit along, I had no idea that this was going to happen. So I had merrily started on the lighter color of the, like the green color, the bluey green color of the pistachio gradient, thinking that I would decide at the end of this first section whether I was going to knit a gradient or just stick with the pistachio color or the pale green color and the cumulus. But at the end of this section, I thought, actually, I like the idea of there being a gradual move towards the dark gray that is on the other end of that particular gradient. And then, of course, was caught out completely because we were going to go the other way as well. So what I've done is this section in the middle, that is the only section that is in that light color. And then I've reintroduced the gradient going in the other direction. So we're going from dark gray to the light, like duck egg blue, and then back to the dark gray. I think it's really effective. I'm very pleased with the end result. And as you can see, I still have some threads hanging down, and those threads are all in the centers of these triangles and semicircles that formed the start of the shawl. I have casts of woven in and finished all my ends, but those sections are still hanging down there because I'm going to make some dark gray tassels and attach those at those points. So there'll be 5 tassels in total hanging down from these points and then the 3 in between. I really like the idea of having those tassels there kind of in the middle of the shawl rather than at the edge, and it gives another nice focal point. So that is my GoGo Dynamo. I'll try and put it back on the wall, and I'll try and put it on backwards so that you can see a little bit more of the knitting while it is hanging there, rather than looking through the shawl at what's effectively the back of it. There we go. See if I can reach. That's it. So that's my GoGo Dynamo, all finished. Whew, done. And I actually jumped into some Christmas knitting. So next to my works in progress that I've got, the ones that I've got with me here this week, I've actually started 2 pairs of Christmas socks. These are, is it West Yorkshire Knitters signature yarn, sock yarn, in 2 different Christmas colorways. The first one, I'm sure I got the label somewhere, but I will put the name, of course, down here. And I've knitted all the way to what's, have I dropped a stitch here? Oh no, I thought I dropped a stitch. I haven't. Phew. Knitting in the evening, so not with the best light. I don't like to have very bright light when I'm knitting in the evening, at least not in the whole room. And of course I haven't got my normal knitting light that I have at home, which is very directional, just on my hands. But it's going well. I've knitted as far as I want to before I go into the heel. And I asked my husband that they're his Christmas socks this year. I've asked whether he wanted the heel and toes in the same yarn or in a contrasting color. And he said, oh, contrasting, that would be nice. So he was immediately up for that. And of course, I haven't brought any contrasting colors for that. Hadn't even considered what I was going to do yet. I just grabbed those 2 balls of Christmas sock yarn because I knew it would be easy to knit those while I'm on the banks of the Tweed watching him fish. I don't have to pay that much attention to my knitting, apart from the evening knitting that I do here in the house. So this is just one leg and I'm stopping it here. I'm going to, for once, I've actually brought some, how do you call them? The cables that you can put the stitches on, to stitch holders, stitch holder cables. And I'm going to put this on a stitch holder cable so I can knit the second sock to the same level, and then put in the contrasting heels when I'm back home with a nice colored yarn, probably something dark, to help highlight the kind of faux ferile bits in between. So that's the first one. I got as far as this week. Of course it goes relatively quickly because it's just straightforward stocking stitch in the round. And I am now also, I actually started that other yarn color shortly after this one because I wanted to show both of them. This is how the ball looks, and then this is how it looks knitted up. And of course it takes a bit of leap of imagination to understand that this will knit up like that. So without trying to force him to do that, I did a little swatch start of a sock of the other yarn. This one I know is called Hollyberry, also from West Yorkshire Spinners Signature. Just have one little repeat of the colors in this ball, and I had done the same with the other yarn to allow him to choose, and he chose the one with the chartreuse in it. Of course, he goes for the nice bright colors, which means that the second pair of socks is going to be for one of my boys. I actually would like to knit a pair of socks of all the guys that I'm celebrating Christmas with, which would also include, of course, husband and 2 boys, and then also include my daughter's partner as well as my brother-in-law. We're all going to have Christmas together this year, so the target at the moment is 5 pairs of socks in time for that. We'll see how far I come. In fact, I'm just going to jump away to grab the pair of socks that I'm knitting for son number 2, because I did actually bring them, and that's a 3rd pair of socks that I'm already working on. I have a sneaky suspicion that I already showed this last time, that I had just started these. This is a sock yarn from Snuggly Stars Yarns. The color is Stormbreaker. It is like a taupey grey with very dark brown, black and teal flashes of color in it. I really like it. It's a very nice sock, especially for a guy. And one of our son's dresses, it's almost like period-like. He loves wearing high-waisted trousers, suspenders, jackets, waistcoats, etc., caps and stuff. So this kind of sock will go very well with his style of dressing. So this will be a pair for him. His brother, who likes bright colors a lot more and dresses much more eclectically, will love this. And then, like I said, that 3rd pair for my husband. And then there's another 4th and 5th pair for the son-in-law and my brother. So that's it for sock knitting at the moment. Hopefully more to show you in the next episode. And then I have brought yarns to crochet with as well. I grabbed one of the multicolored sets that I do, that I first put together a couple of years ago as a multicolored set to knit with and crochet with, alongside the first the first linen check fabric that I had woven. So it's a set that is 150 grams, 6 little hanks of 25 grams each. And I grabbed one of these sets because I had already crocheted a little scarf. One of my little crochet scarf was hopefully going to be a pattern looking like this. It's got a line in the middle. You start with one line of chains that you make to the length that you want your scarf to be, and then you start crocheting along one side and gradually decreasing the number of stitches that you crochet, so you end up with an elongated triangle. It's kind of half the width of the scarf, like this. Gradually gets wider, so you're going back and forth and back and forth. It's like knitting short rows, but you're crocheting short rows. And then you do the same thing on the other side of that initial set of chain stitches. So you end up with this very elongated kind of lozenge shape of a little scarf. And it's a very pretty stitch, very pretty crochet stitch. And you end up with something that is just the perfect length to give you a little flash of color. Either goes with or in contrast with the rest of your outfit, like that. And of course, it's one of the colors from that 6-color multi-pack of 150 grams. So the idea is that I'll end up with writing up a pattern for these that will go with a pack like this, or some of the gradient packs if you prefer that. And I knew I had one with me, a little scarf with me that I had made that was shorter than the one that I just showed you. So what I just showed you, just going to make this final stitch a bit bigger so it doesn't pull out. There we go. It's of course still a live stitch. So I had made this about the same width, but it's a lot shorter than the green one. So it barely fitted around my neck as it was. And I'll show you the comparison. If I hold the middles together, then you can see that this pinky orangey color is about 4 inches shorter, and that of course goes both ways than the green one. So I thought, well, actually, with that very super short length being barely enough to put around my neck, how about, look, it really is a little bit mean. How about I go with a contrasting color around the outside edge? So I've literally just started here in the middle and started crocheting around the outside edge with a dark gray color, and that's the dark gray that came from the gradient. It's a slate gray, which is one of the colors that is part of the standard color range as well of the linen that I sell, the 600 grams per 600 meters per 100 grams linen. That is just my staple linen yarn. And so if you wanted to do something in this color combination, you could. These are both two of the standard colors, but I'm going to keep going around the outside for a while with this gray color to create that contrasting edge, which is going to be, well, my guess is about 1 inch wide, and then I'll make it longer in the points so that it makes up that 4-inch length difference, and it ends up about the same length as this. And I can of course then write that up as a variation of the pattern. Nice idea to have a 2-color variant as well with that contrasting color around the edge. So that's what I've been working on as well. This one is more or less finished. I had this whole idea of, as you will have heard me talk about at previous episodes, of putting similar color linen self edge or linen waist fabric along the outside edges. But the more I play with these, of course, the softer I get. The linen yarn gets softer very quickly the more you handle it, and it doesn't really need anything else. It just looks so nice as it is. And I think I'll take away from the effect of the crochet by adding fabric to it. It kind of over complicates things. And I think doing a contrasting color edge in that respect is a lot more effective than adding fabric to it. So I've abandoned that idea. I'm going to stick with just crochet, either in the one color like this or in combination of colors like this. So that's been it. I had thought that maybe I would bring my Tessellation Nation blanket work with me, but with all the clothes that I brought here to film along the bank of the river and all the other bits and pieces, I thought, let's not overcomplicate things. I haven't gotten back into the work of the Tessellation Nation blanket yet, and I have to kind of get into it so that I have in my head what comes next. And to sit here to work that out from the start, I think it just makes things unnecessarily complicated for me this week. I've got plenty to get on with. So that's what I've done, but at least I'm crocheting again, and hopefully I'll have a pattern for this for you soon. So that's it for knitting and crochet update. Let's move to the banks of the River Tweed and let's have a look at the combinations that I put together for you in the Smocks and Tabards for the pre-order that finishes the end of this coming Monday, the 11th of November. Enjoy.
Smocks and Tabards on the bank of the River Tweed. You've seen me on the Tweed before in 2 years previous, last year and the year before. That was a different vista. I was filming with the camera facing upstream. Today I'm with the camera facing downstream in a spot that doesn't suffer sounds from the road quite as badly. The road is a little bit further away and a little bit higher up, so you can hear some road sounds, but you should be able to hear me properly as well. I'm kicking off with a black smock together with black slackers that I'm wearing with an anytime top in grey to turn it into a bit more of an everyday outfit, worn with one of the gorgeous scarves that has black in it as well as grey, which is why it works very nicely with this outfit. Of course, I can very easily dress this outfit up a little bit by making everything that I'm wearing black. So if I just swap this anytime top for a black one, all of a sudden the whole outfit looks a little bit more dressy. I'll show you. This is what I mean. Black anytime top, same shawl but worn like a wrap rather than just round my neck like a scarf, and all of a sudden it's a bit more eventful and a bit more dressy and a bit less everyday. Of course, I can't really change my shoes here. I have to be on sturdy boots. safety first in that respect, of course. But let's keep going because I want to show you that this the black underpinnings, like the black top and the black trousers, of course look beautiful as well with a slightly more colorful top. So I'm going to move on from the black smock to a tabard in brown. Slightly more everyday again, a brown tabard. Of course, it's the black brown cross weave, so it's got black in it and therefore looks wonderful against the black backdrop of my slackers and anytime top. And let's keep going with color and gradually introduce some more. Move away from the black and into a more colorful outfit, but sticking with brown for now. I've kept the top dark with the black anytime and my tabard, but then added a bit of zing at the bottom with a pair of lava slackers. Of course, these could be other shaped trousers, but what I am trying to illustrate here is that you can introduce brighter colors that are away from your face. If you are not confident about wearing a color like this, like lava, close to your face, then of course you can relegate it to the bottom half of your outfit or wear it as a top and then wear a different color scarf or shawl. But very nice combination here, brown with lava and then a black top. So let's change that black top and add some more color to this still. Same slackers, same tabard, but a love top in sangria to pick up on the beautiful pinkish reddish color that is in the lava trousers and combine it very nicely with this brown tabard. I'll turn around as well. I forget to move a bit more. Not as familiar an environment, of course, as per usual. But as you can see here, the river running alongside me, the beautiful Tweed River, where the salmon have just this week started spawning. So in terms of salmon fishing, it's just about the end of the season here now. Very positive reports for anybody remotely interested in salmon on the Tweed. There are massive amounts of salmon this year, which is all very encouraging because the salmon stocks have been very steadily dwindling. This, of course, is all wild salmon that swims all the way upriver from the North Sea. And oh, there was one jumping right there. Hopefully, while I am filming, I'll end up detecting some jumps behind me while I'm editing. If there are any, I will, of course, highlight that. Because they jump, they get very overexcited and in some cases aggressive. Because what happens when the salmon spawn is they've all migrated upstream, so out of the salty seawater into the fresh water of the river. All the time that they're on the river, which ends up being months, they do not eat. And so the whole idea with salmon fishing is to elicit the kind of response from the salmon that you get a cat to make when you dangle a toy in front of them. And even if they behave like, I'm not particularly interested in playing with you right now, at some point that paw will come out and they will have a little grab at the toy that you're dangling. That's what you end up doing when you're fishing salmon. So it's a very elusive sport. It's very heavily regulated, which is good. Salmon do not get harmed. They don't get killed. They don't get eaten. You end up hooking them with a very small hook that is barbless. So they very easily get rid of the hook again before you have a chance to reel them in. Then you try to keep that hook in the cartilage of their mouth, and you eventually get them close enough to unhook the hook yourself. You have a look at the salmon, you weigh them, you check them for health, and you immediately let them go again. And we already were lucky that on the first day we were here, within 10 minutes of being in the water, my husband ended up hooking a salmon, a beautiful female salmon that was not close to spawning yet, so we haven't disrupted anything. And we also stay away very clearly with the support, of course, from the estate owner who owns this stretch of river. Stay away from the areas where the fish spawn. And those areas are remarkably easy to recognize, because what the female fish do when they get ready to spawn is they clean the bottom bed of the river. And they clean it to a point that it looks, when you're standing on the bank, that section of river bed ends up looking almost white. It's quite chalky, it's very light, and they clean it completely. Then they end up laying their eggs. Of course, the male salmon fertilize the eggs, and then the female salmon cover those eggs again. And then once they're all done, they retreat back stream to the river. And the most extraordinary part of this whole story is they retreat down the river backwards. I could not believe this. They don't turn around and swim back out to the sea. They back out of the river. It sounds extraordinary, but apparently that's the only way for them to keep breathing properly, to have the water running past their faces. And when they are swimming downstream, they just don't get enough oxygen. So they have to keep with their faces into the flow of the water and back out of all those miles, backing out of the river. We're not at that point. There would not be anybody near the river trying to fish when the fish are coming back out of the river. It's only when they're swimming upstream before they spawn that the fishing takes place and that the fishing is allowed, and at very, very limited numbers and limited quantities. So, don't know where that all came from, but all of a sudden I had to tell you, probably because I was turning towards the river, I had to tell you how it all happens. We're incredibly lucky with the weather. You can see how clear it is. It was very foggy first thing this morning, but it's cleared up completely. It's 20 minutes past 10 in the morning, and I'm standing here with 3/4 length sleeves, and I could merrily stand here for the next hour and not get cold. If I would sit down for hours, then I would need extra layers, but it is 10 degrees Celsius, so it's really, really lovely, and there's hardly any wind either. Hence, being able to do this and being able to take my time. Right behind the camera is a fishing hut. That's where I've got all the outfits lying on a table and organized, so I can show you this as if I would be in my studio filming. So it feels like a super, super treat to be able to do this like this today. Right, on to the next outfit. I've got a lot more to show you. See, here comes the next one. I've changed the tabard. This is a cinnamon tabard. Just talking about salmon and then having an almost salmon-y outfit. Well, not quite, but I've added one of the beautiful shawls. This is the one that has a bit of silk in it, and it has all the little kind of flowers and a really exciting combination of colors, because there is the like a very pale yellow in here, which is the center of the flowers. Then the little flower petals are magenta pink. Then there is the orange, a bright red orange color as a background, and then there is green and blue colors in the leaves of the flowers. And I would say that out of all of the shawls, this is the slightly more densely woven. They're still all very thin and ethereal, but this has got slightly more weight to it, maybe because of the silk. Feels lovely around my neck, and of course it's got that same big size. Show you, they're all about just under 7 foot long, and then a little bit over 2 foot wide. I think it's 70 centimeters, so like 28 inches, and gorgeous. So a wonderful way to zhuzh up the whole outfit color with this shawl. But of course, if you're not so keen on the super bright, then without the shawl it looks great as well. Let's keep going. I'm going to keep this tabard, cinnamon tabard on, but combine a very, very different bright color to show you what that looks like. Baggies to come. So here is the same cinnamon tabard again, but now with a cocoon outfit of a love top and baggies in the lovely bright teal. And as you can see, especially in the beautiful Scottish autumn light, what a glorious color combination this is, but also what a glorious color teal is. It is bright, absolutely. So if you're not into brights, then steer away from this. But it's a beautiful bright, and it goes with lots of different colors. I will show you that by combining it with a smock coming next in jungle, which of course is a green color, but it's a tealy bluey green, stunning with teal. I'll show you. And here is the smock in jungle, and then over the top of my teal cocoon outfit. Now, of course, jungle has the teal cross weave together with a bright green, which makes for that beautiful, rich and quite tropical green color, hence the name jungle. But of course it can be moved in a different direction by going more blue. So if I keep this on the love top in the teal color, picking up in the teal, but I then go with a color that is still in the teal spectrum but a lot more blue, then the whole outfit moves into a different direction. I've just heard another fish jump. I think it was out of the range of the camera, but I got that, oh, fish kind of reaction. So if you see me flinch, that's most probably the reason why I keep flinching. Anyway, on to the next one. Oh, and of course, like I always say, I'll just repeat it again. A cocoon outfit is great to wear at home, and then just throw something like a smock or a tabard or a play suit over the top of this, or a tulip dress, and you're ready to go out. Of course, something like this can be worn underneath, the cocoon baggies can be worn underneath a wool play suit as well, or linen baggies to just make them heavier and warmer, and beautifully suited for very cold climates. So you don't have to leave your linen trousers just for the summer. They can go year round if you combine them with cocoon baggies underneath. Of course, it doesn't go for all shapes of trousers, but your baggies and your play suits anyway. And I just recently again had a customer at the studio who said, I have some of those cocoon baggies and I wasn't wearing them very often because I just didn't feel that confident about wearing them out. But then I saw one of the episodes where you spoke about the wearing a dress over the top of it, and she's now wearing them out all the time. So it is, for a lot of people, it's just making that leap of grabbing a pair of trousers that they've always associated with indoor wear only, and then combining it with other garments to make them work harder, make them work in a lot more outfits. And as a result, you end up getting a lot more wear out of them, and they're still all just super, super comfortable. So enough of that story again. Let me show you a pair of bluer trousers. A pair of breeches in the royalty color. Of course, royalty being one of the summer linen colors. It's a cross weave of teal and the red purple that is in blackcurrant. And like I said, more in the direction of blue, but clearly still with a hint of teal in it. That's part of the cross weave, and therefore also a beautiful combination with that glorious jungle and then teal by itself in my love top. So I'll keep the rest of this outfit on, but I'll take the very bright teal away and tone the whole outfit down just a little bit. As I said, changed the top and left this the same, the rest the same. So an anytime top in the slate gray, combined with my jungle smock and my royalty breeches, all a little bit toned down. One more color to go, and I've left half of my outfit for it back at the house, so you'll know what I mean though when you see it. So in terms of smocks and tabards, you can choose your favorite color from all the sturdy linen colors on offer, as well as the checks. I think there are 26 or 28 in total, lots to choose from. But I chose 5 colors to feature specifically in this episode. Featured colors as part of the promotion. This is, of course, turmeric. And I already showed the turmeric smock at the end of a recent episode when we had the baggies on pre-order. And of course, one of the favorite outfits that I showed then was turmeric all the way, with the love top and my own turmeric baggies, which I brought all the way from home and forgot at the house this morning when I was grabbing everything, getting everything together for this photo shoot. We're about a 10-minute drive away from the house on, so all the, there was another jumping fish, all the clothes were packed up and protected in the back of a Polaris, humping and bumping here through the hills to get to this particular site. So I can't quickly run back and get my turmeric baggies, but of course I used a couple of stills from that episode to show on social media and my newsletter. So I'll show you a picture of the full teal outfit here before I at least can change into the turmeric smock with the turmeric love top, because I did bring that. Last one. Of course, there's no place than the glorious Scottish daylight to show the beautiful match between the cocoon, a love top in turmeric, and the turmeric smock. Turmeric cross weave, of course, a beautiful mustard yellow color cross woven with a soft tobacco color. And this kind of wraps it up. I've shown you the full outfit already as a still. It's the best that I can do. I hope you enjoyed this episode from the Scottish Borders, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching.